Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about a little kind of continuation on the last video I did about kratom being a drug. I believe what I used in the title was smoke shop opiates. And we're going to continue that trend of topic, essentially, talking about smoke shops and some of the stuff that they sell there and that are essentially like designer drugs. And how dangerous they can be. This is more of a story. This is a story from back in 2016, end of 2015, literally, like, it was, I believe, the very January of 2016. And this is a story about a time where me and an ex-girlfriend of mine wanted to do Molly, and we couldn't find any from anybody we knew. And we'd heard these rumors for a long time, actually, that the smoke shop in Rialto, Southern California, sold Molly there. And it was like, fuck, dude, they were just pills. So, like, I believe it was like, 10 a point or something, or 15 a point or something. So we decided one night we're gonna fucking do it. And this is at the time I lived in Riverside, California, in an apartment. And so we did. We went, drove there. It was just me. I was renting the apartment with a friend. He was gone for the weekend. Um, and so we went and bought it, went back to the apartment, and we took it. And there was these pills. And so we start feeling a little strange, right? It doesn't feel anything like fucking Molly at all. Like nothing. Like I'm starting to see shit. Like it's almost more relatable to acid, if anything. I'm starting to see like a lot of like color changing and stuff like that. I'm starting to see very vivid patterns in like the ceiling and the like popcorn ceilings and stuff. Our dog at the time, Nala, she was like a, I don't even know what she was, like golden retriever, like coyote mix or something. She was a really strange dog, but she was sitting there in my face and she was freaking me out because her face was morphing and like flashing different colors. And so very quickly after this, I don't really remember anymore what happened. But what had happened was I woke up the next morning, like I guess you could say actually maybe a few hours later in a fucking mental hospital. Um, what had happened was I guess at some point I started freaking out. Um, and I got really angry and I ended up flipping the table over in the living room, throwing everything just everywhere around. I grabbed a golf club out of my golf bag and started swinging holes into the wall. My girlfriend, rightfully so, left and, fucking was terrified. Um, and she didn't have these adverse effects. She said she was hallucinating, but when I started doing all this, I guess it kind of snapped her out of it or something. Um, and so she left. My apartment door was open all night, so the dog ended up getting out, and I ruined this apartment. I mean, I fucking literally there was holes all over my bedroom. When I got home the next day, there was a 4 iron bent into the wall, like it was really fucking bad. Um, like my money and wallet was all strewn about in the living room. Thank God it was the living room, not outside. It was like all the money I had in the world at the time. Um, and when I was in the mental hospital, I was also only in my boxers. I had no other clothes on at all. And so apparently what had happened was I got into an argument with my girlfriend, started screaming at her, um, and scaring her, and she left. And I'm not somebody who's like abusive in any way like that. Like I don't. So that was what really scared her was I was acting some way I've never fucking acted before. And I was, I guess, saying stuff about like my dad being a piece of shit, which, if anybody's watched the channel, I have like very, rough relationship with my father. And I was like talking to him as if he was there, I guess, and like fucking acting like I was fighting him and shit. Um, And so what I eventually ended up remembering about this is while I guess all this was going on, I was having what I thought was a dream. And I had this weird dream that like a helicopter was chasing me and that people repelled out of the helicopter and it was like my mom and dad and they were like, "Hey, all the shit that you've ever been through, like it was all leading up to this moment. Like you did it." Like it was like the climaxing of a fucking a struggle or something. It was like everything I'd gone through in my life was like just a class I was taking to that point or something. It was really weird that I had these thoughts. Like this came to me the next day, like is what I felt like was going on. And then I did remember being put into the back of a cop car, and I remembered what I was seeing, like just very briefly remember this. I don't remember anything else but this about the cop car. Is I remember seeing like as if it was like the Matrix, like lines of code, but like flashing different colors of like reds, blues, greens, and stuff like that all over. My whole field of vision was just like lines of code. And then yeah, then I woke up in the mental hospital. And so what I learned had happened is, well, like I said, with my girlfriend, and then apparently I went out after her, chasing her in just my boxers. And when I went out the gate outside, the gate closed and you need a key to get in. And so I guess when I realized she wasn't there and I couldn't get back in, I went to climb over the brick wall to get into the apartment complex, like by where the you park, like the indoor parking is, like where there's like a gate and shit. And I guess right when I was going over that wall is when I got arrested. And I thank God, I guess I didn't fight the cops at all. I just fucking complied with them. Um, and yeah, so they asked me, this is all what I was told. They asked me if I was okay, and I said no. I said that I was on drugs and that they were making me lose my mind. And then I guess the apartment complex, like the manager of the apartment complex, he heard all the yelling, and multiple people did. So this is how the cops were there already, is people heard me going crazy, I guess, and they called the cops, and then seen my girlfriend left. So yeah, they called the cops. The cops were pulling up as I was hopping the gate, and that's how I got arrested. Um, so the manager said he went into the apartment. He was like, "Dude, you guys aren't getting your deposit back, obviously. I don't know what's going on, but it sounded like you were on some sort of drugs. Like you might need to fucking find somewhere else to live, sort of deal." Apartment wasn't in my name; it was my buddy Forrest's name, so it was really fucked up for him. But we ended up not. He ended up not having to move out because I ended up moving out myself. But so in the mental hospital, they didn't want to let me go because apparently I was so erratic and just crazy. And then when I fell asleep, I woke up. They said I was a completely different fucking person. They asked me if I had any thoughts of like self-harm or suicide or anything like that, or if I wanted to hurt anybody, and I'm like, no. And they're like, well, what happened? And I said, honestly, I was trying to buy Molly at this smoke shop. I'd heard that they sold it. They sold me these pills. They fucking, this is what happened. This is all I know is I was trying to take drugs, and it was not the drug I was trying to take. And they were like, well. Um, do you plan on continuing to use drugs? And I said, honestly, maybe in the future, I'm not like a fucking hardcore addict, justification, fucking delusion, but because I most definitely was. But like I do them every now and then, like for fun. But it's never happened like this before. And they, lo and behold, it ended up, releasing me. I had to have somebody pick me up, and I couldn't believe that my girlfriend answered this call from a random fucking number, and then Mike said, "Okay, yeah, I'll pick you up." And so she picked me up, got there about an hour later, and yeah, they released me. Um, and then I went back to the apartment, went inside, dog was gone, started freaking out. Forrest, my buddy's calling me, asking me, what the fuck happened? How come fucking my boss had to go find my dog and found her like fucking 2 miles away. I don't even know how the dog was found. Like I really don't. It was that far away and he still found her. I don't know how she was found. Oh, you know what? I do remember how she was found. Somebody found her and called, she had a tag. That was how she was found. And then he called his boss to go get her. Um, me and my buddy that I was living with at the time, we still don't talk. We very we were really close back then, and this whole situation is like what really strained our friendship. Um, and I love the guy still and wish nothing but the best for him. He might not feel the same way about me. He has every right to feel that way. Um, but yeah, so my girlfriend, that was kind of also the beginning of the end for me and her being together. We stayed together like another 6 months after that, but she never saw me the same, rightfully so as well. She came and like I felt so stupid because I went into the apartment with her, went into my room, tried to clean up whatever I could. Like literally everything in the house was completely like rearranged, thrown around. Like the couches, the fucking coffee table in the living room, dining table was like on its side. Fucking chairs were one of the chairs was in the living room, one was near my bathroom door. My fucking bed, queen size bed, was just fucking mattress flipped up, fucking box spring flipped over there. Like just everything was the drawers ripped out of my dresser. I wish I had pictures. I was so ashamed. So fucking terribly ashamed of myself. And just holes all in the wall. And so um, she hung out with me for a little bit, and we were gonna stay together the whole weekend. This was Saturday. Now, I went in Friday night. We went, got all this stuff Friday night. This all happened Friday night. So now we're in Saturday. And she, leaves. She needs some space. She doesn't think she could be around me. And, yeah, I scared the ever living shit out of her. And so I went to my boss's house, went and got like drywall gun or screw gun, drywall screws, like Home Depot, and went and got like little patches, and I did my best I could to try and like patch the holes in the wall. And there's just no way you can make that much damage hidden completely. Especially back then, I wasn't the greatest with drywall. Um, and so yeah, was so ashamed of myself that I fucking basically couldn't face Forrest again. I stayed away from the house for like a week like a pussy and fucking hid from my own fucking problems that I caused. And I sent him some money and I vigorously apologized. And then I finally came home. And when I came home, it was basically just to get all my shit out. Um, we both came to the conclusion that he didn't want to fucking have me in the apartment anymore either, and that I needed to go and make some changes, which I only made changes for the worst at that point. I ended up renting a room from some random people who were all on drugs, and I just furthered my addiction there. And my girlfriend and I slowly started seeing each other more and more again, but she was very distant for at least like a month. And then, just residual effects from that whole experience kind of lingered on, and other stuff would compound on there, like the continuing and burgeoning drug use that was going on. I was using more and more, um, you know, all things that I caused. But yeah, I ended up moving out. Me and Forrest would hang out again, like 2 or 3 more times. We'd go golfing once, and then he ended up moving out of the apartment a little later. He got his girlfriend pregnant not too long after that. Um, we would go golfing a few times. I literally, since that experience, I've seen Forrest 3 more times, and that was almost 8, 9 years ago. I seen him when I went and moved out. I seen him when we went golfing, and then I seen him at one of our buddies' weddings, and that was it. I haven't seen him since. And we've just gone separate directions. And God bless and thank God he's done very well. He's doing fantastically. He's got his own little family, and I'm very, very proud and happy for him, and I love him to death. And yeah, but if the story serves as anything, I hope it just serves as like kind of a warning that like, look, just because you can buy things in certain places, um, don't trust what it is. Like, even if you find out, like, oh, this store sells these fucking drugs, like, it's probably not what you fucking thinking or being told it is. Um, a lot of these smoke shop designer shit is like just meant to be a workaround to actual drugs, and they're meant to be sort of like a way that you can still get high, but not have to worry about legal ramifications. What ends up happening though are these things that end up in some cases being far more dangerous than anything else you could find on the street. What a lot of people have theorized that I've talked to about this and have shared this experience with is that what we were given was actually this strain of synthetic acid called 25I. Um, and it's actually a deadly strain. It's killed people. Um, yeah, I and reading about some of the effects that this shit has on people, I totally see how that would be a conclusion people would come to. In fact, out of everything else I've researched and came across, that is the most likely answer to what it is that I took that day is 25I, which is a very, very dangerous compound. Um, anyways, I hope, but yeah, um, don't don't think that just because you can buy it from a storefront that it's safe or that it's what you're being told it is, because it more than likely is not safe, or if it's an actual like illicit drug that they're saying they're selling, it's probably not what you think it is. Like I know smoke shops in some states, like at least in California, sell mushrooms now, and for the most part, those are real. But I feel like that's going to become a problem here soon too. In fact, I'm going to make a video about that next, I think, is smoke shop mushrooms. Um, I feel like what the problem with that here is going to be is people are going to over potentize, make it really fucking potent. And it's going to cause people to do really dumb things or get really, really high, start thinking that they're not real or, weird shit that hallucinogenics can do. It's gonna be fucking a magnifying effect because, labs are gonna sit there and try and extract and extract and extract and make shit as powerful as they possibly can. And that's not the way it's supposed to be taken. And shit, that's what's gonna cause people to go off the deep end. Um, I mean, there's already enough shit out there that can cause people to do that, but it's just, we don't need help, you know what I mean? But yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting. I hope this was informative, and please be careful with these smoke shop things and fucking just with anything in general, especially now. This fentanyl, it was around back then. It just wasn't as fucking prevalent and dangerous as it is now, being in everything that it's in. So stay safe out there. The best thing to use is to not use. And yeah, I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I'll be back soon. Take it easy. And don't forget, if you like the video, like and subscribe, and let me know what you think down below. Peace.